What up, peeps? It's your girl Dash coming back to your friend takes. Well, you guys, it's that time again, movie news time. There's a couple things I want to discuss. This won't be too lengthy on this one, rather shorter, but just a couple of updates on some movies that are being actually in production, filming, things of that nature. I have a couple of things I'm going to discuss that are new on the horizon, and then also just a little discussion about some other things. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. Now, my first thing I want to do is congratulate Jordan Peele on his movie, and that is Us. It made $70 million this weekend. I think it is definitely number one. Say so myself. I'm actually happy because I feel like I'm a part of that. I did go out and spend that money on that, and I really am happy for him. I already said in my review, which I've already should have uploaded by this time this comes out, that I really enjoyed the movie. I know to some people it's not considered too much of a horror, but I feel like it's a different take on horror films in some sort of fashion. That, you know, not throughout the whole movie. Honestly, it was so scary and all that. You had a couple creepy factors, which is how I saw it. I don't feel like I got jump scares from it. Some other people in the audience, of course, it was. I was in a packed house, and besides that, the casting on it was great. But let me tell you, Lupita was just phenomenal in this. I think she really was the one that stood out to me most of all out of all of the casting. The kids were great in it, but Lupita brought it home. Literally brought it home for me. So I hope you guys do get a chance to see it and let me know what your thoughts are. You know, in my review, you know, come over there and just let me know what you think. Or even in here, it's no biggie. Whichever way you want to leave it at. I'm just curious to see what other people's thoughts are. You know, like I said, it's to each his own. Some people might like it, some people not. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's always good to have other different feelings about a movie, whichever. And everybody has like everything all written in stone from everybody. I like that because it just kind of keeps it fresh with other people's thought processes and what they like to watch. So, but moving along, just want to give a little shout out to that because they're doing really well for their first weekend out. Ka-ching. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the first order of business. I want to discuss this movie because we're still slowly getting information on this, and now we're getting a little bit of casting, so I'm actually glad about that. And this has to do with Christopher Nolan's movie. Still don't have a title. Still don't know what the overall plot is about. They keep saying it's some sort of romantic thriller. I wonder if that's even true or not. Somebody could just be throwing out, you know, smoke screens or whatever. I keep hearing comparisons between the movie North and Inception. That keeps coming up a lot. But I can say in regards to casting, this part is definitely accurate from what I'm hearing. We have 3 new people who have been added. We have John David Washington. If you all recall, he was in the movie Black Klansman. And then also we have Robert Pattinson. You should know who he is. A lot of people, like I do, say the Twilight series, and they're like, oh, those movies. He's done many things since then. He actually has a movie coming out this year called High Life. So I definitely keep up with some of his work. I do like a little bit that he's put out since the series, the Twilight series. Then we also have a female by the name of Elizabeth Debicki. She's been in a couple of movies. A couple of them that I definitely am aware of, and then one in particular I went and saw last November that I really enjoyed, and that was Widow. She was in. And then also she's been in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. She's been in The Great Gatsby. She was also in Guardians of the Galaxy movie as well. And then I think some other movies. I think a movie called The Tale. That I didn't see, but the other ones I have seen. So I actually like the casting. I'm loving what I'm seeing. John and Robert are, of course, the 2 main male leads, and I'm assuming they've needed another person to add to it. So I'm curious to see if anybody else will be added, or these are the main focal actors in the movie, and then, of course, we'll have supporting roles, whichever. But then I like what I'm seeing, and I'm really excited because the first person to come on board actually was John David Washington, and then, of course, Robert followed, and then Elizabeth. So we're slowly getting some things. The casting has me now really wanting to know more. I do hear that the filming starts in June for this movie, so that's a good thing. We know it's definitely, he's going full throttle. I knew it was this year, just wasn't sure at first when he would start, if it was going to be summertime or not, and it clearly looks like it will be. This movie comes out next year in July. We still don't know if it's at the beginning of the month or not, whatever, depending on what comes out in July, because it's a lot going on in 2020. So I'm curious to see how that's going to pan out. Also, just wanting to know more about the overall plot. I'm hoping it's like that romantic thriller, because the movies that I'm familiar with that I won't say are so romantic from him, you know, like the movie Memento. I really enjoyed that one. You know, already know about Dunkirk. I can't say enough about the Dark Knight trilogies because I enjoyed every last one of them. They were just awesome in itself, you know. So I'm curious to see if he's gonna do, you know, kind of go there, whichever and all that. he's not known for doing certain roles where the women really kind of stand out like that. It's mostly the guys in a lot of his movies, and there's nothing wrong with that. I like movies. I don't care if it's a male or a female lead. It doesn't matter to me, as long as it's a good movie storyline and whichever. So I'm looking forward to knowing more, and I'm hoping, since we're getting on the ball with the casting, we'll start hearing a little bit more information. And I figure since we're going to be in April soon, most likely something will be coming out shortly prior to filming. So I keep my eyes open on this particular one because, like I stated, I am a fan of Nolan, his work. So I really want to know a little bit more about this. So, but moving on from that, you guys. The next one I want to talk about, and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Not too happy about how I feel about them doing a movie about this, since this was done back in the 80s, and I love the one. And I'm one of those people, a lot of the movies from the 80s, some from the 90s, still stand up really good, but I don't know, they feel like enough time has passed. It's been over 30 years, so let's just go ahead and make one. So this has to do with Masters of the Universe. So I'm still on the fence about it a little bit, and I'm really on the fence now because of who I heard is being considered for the role. They're considering them. They're in the midst of, I'm assuming, testing some, actors. His name is Noah Centineo. I hope I'm saying it correctly. My apologies. He was in an actual Netflix movie titled, what was it, To All the Boys I've Loved Before. Now, I know that did very well on Netflix. Got a lot of buzz that they're going to be doing a second one. I never saw it. That was one of those ones I didn't really had no desire to watch. Nothing against that. I love many things on Netflix, whichever. That was one of those teen ones that wasn't really interested. Now, he is going to be in the new Charlie's Angels movie that's coming out in November, and I do plan to see that. I'm curious how he will be in that movie, but that has nothing to do with Masters of the Universe. That's a totally different area that I'm definitely going to be sizing up. First and foremost, okay, he has the height. I know he is at least 6 foot. I think they said 6'1". Okay, got the height down. Can definitely get the overall build because he does a little bit of a build, but he's going to have to get a little bit more build to look anything similar to how we all know He-Man to be. Let's just use a perfect little analogy. Dolph Lundgren from the other one that came out back. It was, was it 80s? I want to say 87. Was it 86, 87? I think 87. Yes. You see his aesthetic? Yes. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. Got to get the body right. Then, if you look at Noah, he has dark hair. Are they planning to make his hair blonde? I'm just being honest. I know some people would say, well, as long as he does the character justice, that is true. But we know, as from the cartoon and also from the original movie from the 80s, the hair was blonde. So I'm trying to visualize how he could truly look in this particular character, but we'll have to see. I just need to see him and just in the overall look of He-Man for me to really get the feel of him playing that. Plus him being so young. I didn't think they were going to make the guy so young. He's only 22. So I don't know about that. I was thinking if they would find somebody who was at least somewhere between 26 and 30 who could play that and still has a young look enough, whichever, where he could, do the scales of being, young and older, but look still young, where if it did very well, they would consider a secondary one, whichever. I know that's far-fetched. It's possible they could do that. I don't know, but I'm just not sure how I feel about this. So I'm going to not reserve myself to just see what other information is going to come out. He's just being considered and talked to about the role. He has not gotten the role yet, so I will have to keep tabs on this one for sure, because this is one of those ones that was from my childhood. Me and my brother love us some He-Man. We used to have all of the little figures for He-Man, whichever, all of them. I don't know what we did with them. I know when I stopped using them and I kind of parlayed more to all about my Barbies, he took them, so I don't know, but you all didn't need to know that, but I'm just saying. So, but with that said, you guys, when I know more about this, I will let you guys know, because I'm definitely going to keep my eyes out on that one. So, needless to say, moving on. Now, this one, of course, I just talked about I want to say about a week ago. It had to do with James Gunn now coming back on board to do Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Very happy about that. I know a lot of people are very happy about that. Definitely the cast of the movie are happy about that. One in particular, of course, we know Dave Bautista. He's very happy because I know he had once said he was going to step down from his character and all. I'm glad he didn't do that, because I'd rather them keep the same cast and characters, whichever. It's just nobody wants too much change, whichever. So I'm just happy they're back. Everybody's on board. He's now on board. So with that, we're finally hearing when production is going to start, and I have it slated for February 2021 is when it's going to actually start. Now, you already know why that is, because he's going to start working on the movie Suicide Squad very shortly. It will be later on this year, and it's going to probably go into definitely next year, and that gives him time to, you know, tweak the movie, finish the movie, editing, all that goes into that before he can even start on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And that's fine, because, you know, that gives him time to definitely, whatever the script was, whichever, any tweaking, things of that nature, that will be great, and it'll just make it even better. And definitely, I feel like once he is on board with the Guardians of the Galaxy, excuse me, that he's going to make sure it does very well for the third and maybe final of the trilogy of it for its franchise. That would be great. So I feel like it's going to probably be really, really good now that they feel happy and confident that James is back. He's going to do justice to the Volume 3, you know, franchise of the movie. So I'm just looking forward to seeing him do his thing, whichever. And that's really interesting because he's doing a movie with DC and then a movie with Marvel. Look at that. Who would ever thought that would happen? So yes, I'm excited for that. So yes, that's a little ways away. We have quite a bit of time, over damn near 2 years before he even starts production. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, everybody's busy. There's plenty of movies that will be coming out. By the time they start production, wherever people start remembering, it is what it is. And we already said it. They didn't start at the beginning of Phase 4. We already knew it was going to be closer towards the end of Phase 4. And now it looks like that is actually going to be the case. So, but with that said, moving on. Now, this movie definitely is a part of DC, and this is another one that I have a little bit more information, but I'd already discussed it before, whichever, but it's just definitely more accurate. The Batman movie definitely looks like it's going to be starting this December in production. Now, I already told you guys, Matt Reeves had already finished the script earlier in the year, and then we were just waiting to hear exactly when they're going to start, exactly when the production will start, what month of this year, so we can kind of get this ball rolling. Now, still don't know who's going to be playing Batman. From what I'm hearing, they are doing casting, you know, looking around, whatever. We still don't have any information about that, but I did know for you, the last time I talked about this, we have 15 to 20 year age difference, because if you all recall, I stated that the Batman of Ben Affleck portrayed, you know, was definitely much older. They want to go younger with this person. They want them, I'm assuming, to be in their, maybe in their early 30s. If you're thinking 15 to 20 year age difference, and Ben Affleck being about what, 48, 49 years old, that looks about right. So I am just looking forward to knowing about that. I'm happy to know about the production part, but I want to know who is cast, because I stated it before, I'm going to say it again. Whoever's going to get cast already has to know that they're going to want to do more than just one Batman movie. That's going to probably be essential before they sign on their dotted line. Let's just be real. I said it with Christian Bale. When he came on board, he probably already knew he was going to be doing 3 of them damn things, even though he does movies in between when he's finished that, whatever and all that. But just to know the aesthetics of it all, staying within, you know, a certain weight, whatever, the build or whatever. So when they get ready to do the next, you know, movie or the next sequel, whatever, he was just ready to go, whatever, so they can knock out the next movie, whichever. So this person has to be on board. I keep thinking, are they going to do somebody who's very well known, or are they going to do somebody who's considered just not very well known, you know, an up and comer that plays all the parts? So I'm just happy that we're moving along. But again, like I stated last time, I was a little salty because I did like Ben Affleck, but it is what it is. So I don't really think about it too much anymore. He is not involved at all anymore. So I'm going to have to move past, you know, acting like a sourpuss about it. Yeah, it is what it is. So I just want to bring that to you. But the movie, again, just to let you all know, it starts production in December. The release date is June 25th, 2021. We have a ways away, but I don't mind that, because if they're starting December, they're going to probably go, what is it, somewhere between maybe 3 to 5 months of production. Then all next year they'll be doing the editing. And the reason I say it like that is because hopefully next year they'll have something to show for us during Comic-Con. And I like the way the time, you know, difference on that, you know, the amount of time in between. And that's a good thing, because this comes out in June of 2021. That means we're not going to see this at Comic-Con. That means they have to show something then to get everybody just literally hyped, literally salivating, me, myself included. So I pray they find somebody who fits the overall look or whatever, because I think I also brought up how somebody had been, you know, put as an idea of, you know, consideration, and that was Armie Hammer. And I definitely was just like, I don't know, he's just not doing it for me. So I'm just like, no. So right now, Still don't know who it is. I haven't heard anything else about Army being attached to it, whatever. So I just think they're just putting out, individuals, whatever, and then seeing who else, might, click. And plus, probably when they're doing the overall, casting, they're probably testing them out, in regards to scenes, whatever, if people can see the vibe of it. So we'll eventually know what's up, whichever. So moving from that, now this is another DC EU information that just came out, and I'm actually excited about this because of the actor who wants to consider doing this, and I'm talking about James McAvoy vying for possibly playing the Riddler. Now that I did not see coming, and actually excited about that. Now we already know that McAvoy, honestly, he could do any genre. Let's just be real. He's done many movies over the years that I actually like. I mean, I can go from movies, of course, like dramas like The Atonement. Of course, you all know him from Split and Glass. Love those movies. Then, of course, Professor X and the X-Men, franchise. What can I say there? Just so many other movies I could really bring up, but just to name a few, so I can see the potential of him doing that. Now, he recently did a Q&A, live Q&A, whatever, and all through social media junket of Instagram, whatever, and somebody asked him, if he was considering, if he ever was to play one of those particular characters through DCU, who would he pick? And he says the Riddler, and he noted it like this. He says, "I've always thought DC does really good bad guys." And I have to agree with that. They really do. So I'm really intrigued by this. I hope the powers that be hear his feelings and consider it. Now, when I think about other villains, and even the Riddler, you all remember the one that Jim Carrey played, and he played that, I think it was 94, 95, if I'm not mistaken. Was very good at it. I love me some Jim Carrey. So you never know. Seeing it from a different perspective. And I'm trying to think, as in regards to height-wise, I'm like, I don't know if he's somewhere in between, in the middle, whatever in height, because I know Jim's a little tall. James isn't that tall, but yeah. So I don't know. It just depends. If he's just in full makeup and the overall look, and he knows how to carry himself, whatever and all that, then of course people can look past that, me included. So yeah, I'm really down to see that. That would be interesting. And I just love how he just keeps flexing his acting chops with different takes on different characters, so, because he was just a force to be reckoned with in the movie Split. I swear to goodness, I love that movie. Glass I definitely enjoyed, but when I think about being introduced to his character from Split, and then doing all those personalities, it was just like, I was already a fan, but that just knocked it out of the park, where the respect just went high up. It was like a high bar. It was just like, wow, so yes, I really pray that someone definitely says and brings this up, whatever and all, and he's considered, whatever. That would be very interesting, whichever. I love me some DC, love me some Marvel. So the more and more they put out, and they're doing a lot of those standalone villain types of movies, that's the idea. So I don't know where the Riddler falls into this, because I know they have other ones, planned already, that we're, waiting for them to start production. Some are already in production and looking forward to coming out in the future. So, hey, I'm down for it. So speaking of another DCEU movie, I'm definitely looking forward to, and that is Joker. I am so ready for this movie. We have 7 months to go. This comes out October the 4th. I'm looking forward to this. Oh man, I mean, we come off the tail end of Aquaman doing well at the theaters in December, over $1 billion. We have Shazam coming out April the 5th. I'm looking forward to that. I feel like it's a little bit lighthearted action, a little bit of funny, whatever. Love that, because I'm wanting them to not feel like everything has to be, of course, of serious tone. Joker, on the other hand, definitely is going to be that, and there's nothing wrong with that. You all recall last year, prior to them finishing filming back in December, whatever, you were seeing stuff that was being leaked, where they were showing paparazzi taking pictures of Joaquin doing scenes, walking down the street, in his full clown suit. Then we saw pictures of him full makeup, because people were wondering how he would look. Then we saw pictures of him with no makeup on, whichever, looking very, very aged. There's nothing wrong. That's a part of the overall, look aesthetic he was supposed to have. And then, of course, there was a subway scene. Of course, they showed him, getting in. There was a whole bunch of, people, with colors, the Joker on, whatever, and all that, like a distraction of sorts, whatever. And then, just people were like, okay, they're kind of getting the vibe, Joaquin Phoenix playing the character, because a lot of people have their soft spot, of course, for Heath Ledger. Rest in peace. And then, of course, I liked Heath's character, and I love when Jack Nicholson did it. So those are two of my favorite Jokers. So I'm curious to see his take. We're all waiting. I feel like when Comic-Con comes, we're going to get something for this. I feel like I know Todd Phillips is in the middle of doing editing on the film as we speak, but recently he actually posted a picture on his social media where he shows a picture of what looks like to be Joaquin Phoenix, dressing like, like a crisp white shirt and some slacks and some dress shoes, and he's looking at some type of movie on the TV screen. And for me, I'm wondering if that's his home. Now, his real name in the movie, whatever, besides being Joker, it's Arthur Fleck. I'm curious to know if that's his home or if he's in someone else's home, causing havoc and looking at something that's kind of caused him to be mesmerized, whatever, on the television. So I like the little, picture, because everything has always been that they put out for his overall look was in the Joker with the colors, the white, the makeup, the dark purple, suit or whatever. But this time something a little different. The picture does look like it's basically like a black and white. So it just gets me more hyped. It just gets me more hyped for the movie. And then just not Joaquin being in the movie and being the of course the male lead overall. Robert De Niro. Love me some Robert De Niro. Francis Conroy's in this. Zazie Beetz is in this. And I mean, the overall cast, not just them. There's some other people that are in the movie. Just can't name them all at the moment. But trust, believe, when the movie comes out, I'm going to know the majority of the actual casting. So I'm just looking forward to this. And from what I heard, they're supposedly definitely casted a young Bruce Wayne. So yeah, oh yeah, I'm here for it. I'm so here for it. I cannot wait for that movie. I just feel like it's going to be really good. You have Todd Phillips as a director. You have Martin Scorsese as executive producer. I ain't got nothing else to say about that. I feel like we have a winner on that. And I'm vibing with the fact that I'm loving what DC's putting out. I'm hearing also to kind of, piggyback on that on Shazam, that has some, earlier, moviegoers go see it and is getting rave reviews and all. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from DC as of lately. It seems like everything, it could be, spaced out the way they're doing the movies, but everything they're putting out is getting good reviews and is doing very well at the box office. So I feel like once Shazam comes out and it does very well, since we're getting good things so far, I feel like, DC moving forward with the Joker is going to probably be probably right up there as well with the last couple of movies that have come out. So I'm just totally here to see this one. So I don't want to rush the year, but I'm looking forward to seeing this one that comes out in October. So, but moving from that, now this movie, I just talked about this last week, and I'm getting excited about this because one individual is trying to vie to play the lead in this, and this has to do with Shang-Chi. Now, I just spoken about this individual. He's in another movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and this has to do with Mike Moe. Now, he's the one who's playing the character in the movie Bruce Lee, and I'm going to tell you, I heard that he's been getting a lot of buzz just from the trailer because the way he portrays him, it looks, swear to goodness, like Bruce Lee. His overall mannerisms, of course, the fight scenes, whichever, but just when he was having a discussion in the midst of a particular scene from the movie, it was just like if you didn't know any better, you were looking straight at Bruce Lee, and that is literally eerie. But that definitely lets you know that they picked the perfect person to do that. Now he wants to be considered to play the lead in Shang-Chi. Now, I already told you that we have a director who's been added, and that's Destin Daniel Cretton, and I'm very happy about that. So now we're going to have, an Asian director and an Asian lead. And this will be the first Asian superhero movie, done by an American studio, through the MCU. I'm going to tell you like this. I'm loving what Marvel's doing as well. And this is a good thing because going into phase 4, it looks like they truly are just becoming definitely more versed in being diverse. And I'm loving what I'm seeing. And I'm really happy. This is truly long overdue for this particular movie. So I just love that everything's falling into place. I'm hoping they'll consider Mike Moe with him getting the buzz from Quentin Tarantino's movie. That would be nice. So my fingers are crossed for him. Now, let's just say that a couple of tweets went out where he has his fingers up with like a little prayer. He's excited about that. Also, another actor came in and kind of vibed like, yeah, you all need to consider him, come on, powers that be. And that was Patton Oswalt. He put his little 2 cents in there and nothing wrong with that. And then, of course, Mike Moe came back, appreciating, the love, that he was putting out, seeing, his, feelings on that, whatever, and just getting more of it out there. And I feel like enough people tweet that to the right people and tag. You never know. He might be one of the top ones that will consider it with a couple other individuals because there are quite a few people, that they can, consider, Asian actors. There's many, and it's not like, they're going to have quite a few that they can choose from. So let's just hope they find the right fit. because this is, you know, considered, this character is considered like a living weapon of sorts. So I'm down for it. I'm ready to see this. It looks like it's going to be something good. So just get this actor. Of course, the supporting characters will follow, but get the actual actor correct and just bring that baby to life like they've done all the other Marvel films, whatever, and all that. And that one should do very, very well at the theater. I'll be there day one, just like the rest of the Marvel films. You know, show my love, whatever, and give him my money. So, with that said, now moving on from that. Now, this movie, I'm excited because we're not getting enough information about it, but I like the individual who's attached to this, and this has to do with a new movie by Michael B. Jordan. Now, with him, he's going to be teaming up with a director by the name, and let me get his name right, Jordan Vogt Roberts. Now, he's the one that did Kong Skull Island. Now, I'm looking forward to seeing what this is. It's supposed to be considered a new monster film. I don't have a lot to go on, honestly. I like the fact that this has to do with some monsters. I'm all here for that. And this is going to be through one of the production companies that is led by Michael B. Jordan at the head, whichever. So I'm excited to see that he's, you know, involving, you know, his, you know, film company, you know, and just wanting to know a little bit more. Now, from what I'm hearing also, this project will take place when he filmed in Detroit. So, and actually, Jordan actually is a Detroit native, so, you know, how fitting with that. Now, from that, no synopsis, no actual title. So, this is just in the beginning stages, but he's trying to line something up. And I got to give kudos to Michael B. Jordan, because being that he's already busy doing other things, I mean, he had a phenomenal year with Black Panther. We already got to see him recently, of course, in an HBO movie called Fahrenheit 451. Remember that? It was good. Then also Creed 2, which came out in November. Very good. He finished wrapping up the movie Just Mercy with Destin Daniel Cretton, whichever, and with Brie Larson. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I think that comes out in November, they say, of this year. And then from there, just getting ready to do some other films. He's going to do some based off of novels where he's going to play an action person. I'm looking forward to seeing those, because we already know that's going to be multiple films, a part of a book set. So that's going to be a full straight out franchise, and I'm so here for it. I'd already talked about it. I think it has to do with the novel called Without Remorse, and another one called Rainbow Six. So the brother's busy. I said it already. The brother stays busy. I ain't even mad at that. I love it. The brother, he's come a long way. I've always said it, to go from working on the soap opera All My Children, Friday Night Lights, to now doing these movies. He's put his work in, and he's finally getting the fruits of, truly all the fruits of his labor. So I'm down to see what this one will entail. Hopefully, since it's just in the beginning stages of who's coming on board to direct and write, now we'll know probably the next couple of months exactly what the movie's going to be about, what new monster movie this will be, and who else will be attached to the movie. Is he going to be in this? You know, that's another thing. It's, you know, so I'm figuring he most likely will be, or he could just be partly an executive producer, whatever, and somebody else could be at the helm, whichever, because there's nothing wrong with being behind the camera as well as in front. So I love that he's going to probably start doing all facets, and that's great. So I'm going to keep my eyes out on this one, so when I know more, you all will know more. Now, the last and final thing I want to discuss, and this has to do with a particular movie that definitely is going to be a reboot. I can clearly see. It's been about 30 years for this one too. At first I wasn't sure, but I said, you know what, I loved it so much. This one, I, for some reason, I have no problem with it, because I'm curious to see how they're going to frame this one, you know, so close to the original. And this has to do with Toxic Avenger. Now, I talked about this a couple of months ago, how I was psyched to hear that they're going to be doing it. I love the original, the first one. They did 3 of these, but I liked the first one. The second one was okay. The third one was just like, whatever. Sometimes I think when they do more than 2, you know, it's like it gets kind of becomes, what's the new term they say, a cash grab, and I think at the time that's what it was. But for the first one, I loved it. Of course, the character whose real name was Melvin, he was like a little 90-pound little janitor of sorts, and he kept dealing with bullies with her and all that. And let's just say that he fell into a tub of like a toxic waste. Of course, had a full transformation. He became Toxie, and he was basically a person who, you know, was so strong, whatever, and all that he used his new abilities to keep his area of New Jersey and his particular city safe, or whichever, and his hometown safe. And I love the antics of it all, how he got his revenge on the ones who, of course, bullied him, and then, of course, him meeting someone he ended up falling in love with and becoming his girlfriend. Just the whole thing about it, you know, it's straight cheesy 80s and all that, but it was so much fun. And like I said, the first one was good, because even though it had its little comedy, it had its little gore scenes of sorts, whichever, but it was really good, and I liked it. The second one, like I said, I enjoyed some scenes and it was all great. The third one I didn't really particularly care for, whichever, but this is one of those ones that's considered like a little cult classic of sorts, and I'm totally down. Now, other than that, We have a new director and writer for this, and his name is Macon Blair. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what he is going to be doing with this. I'm not familiar with any of his work, so that is treading lightly with me to know exactly how good he's going to do with this particular movie, and if this is going to be a franchise that he foresees doing multiple, that does play a part. Also, don't know who is going to be cast, honestly. So we just know we now have a writer-director. Don't know who's still going to be cast. I'm assuming now that we have that, they're going to probably start spitting it up, whatever, because this is something that was in the works for quite a while, for quite a couple of years, but it kept getting pushed back. Then I kept hearing supposedly Arnold Schwarzenegger was attached to some way. I don't know in what way. Nothing wrong with that. Love me some Schwarzenegger, but I was just like, really? I feel like this one, they might do a no-name. I don't know. I could be really hitting it out the park with that. But I just don't know. I'm trying to figure out who's going to do this. Plus, the person definitely... Well, no, let me put it like this. We already know he's going to be geeky at first, whatever. So I'll probably find somebody who's probably a no-name or whatever for that. But when it comes to the person who's supposed to look the part, they can go with a no-name, honestly, because he's going to be in full, full makeup or whatever, looking like the Toxic Avenger, whatever. They have to have the height in the build. So that's the part that plays a part. And then whoever's going to do the voice, because let's just be honest, when he would speak, it was just so much funny to me at times. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing who is going to do the overall voice. Or they're going to make this actual person speak, or they're going to have a different type of voice, because the voice did not fit him clearly in the movie. So yes, I am definitely going to keep my eyes open to figure out whatever else that's going to come up with this particular movie, because I would really like to see this. I'm looking forward to seeing that transformation when he falls into the toxic waste, how it's going to look, because the one from the original movie, God, you felt for the boy, poor Melvin. I felt so bad for him. So yeah, it's going to be, we're more in the modern times with the way they're doing a lot of the updated reboots. So it's going to be really, really gory probably. So make sure my tummy isn't hurting, uneasy, whatever, and all that. Eat those pretzel bites really quickly so I can enjoy the rest of that movie. So, but yes, you guys, that is it. I just wanted to come on here and kind of throw out a couple of things. I got a couple of updates on whichever. So comment below. Let me know of any of the things I discussed that you're all looking forward to. Definitely talked about quite a bit on DCEU and in a couple, information updates, whatever. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed the movie news. And with that said, I will see you guys in the next one. You guys take care.